Hello, peculiars. I am speaking to you from the Grand Citia Hotel in Turin, Italy at 1 o'clock in the morning with food poisoning because of tangling with a bad oyster. However, I'm here and I'm excited, and I know that Davey is too because we're about to talk about the end of things.
Hi, I'm sitting in a bedroom in Cleveland, Ohio. I might not have food poisoning, but I am going on 4 hours sleep. So we're both not at our best today.
But we're excited anyway because if the world ends, it really doesn't matter how much sleep you've had.
Doesn't matter. None of this matters. No,
none of it
not
matters.
at all.
No.
It's been fun going around all week telling people how the world's gonna end.
I know. Yeah, you know what? I found out it kind of kills cocktail receptions.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
people
brings the mood down.
Well, I'm no good at those situations anyway, but I was giving a talk in Sweden, right? And then afterwards they make you mingle, and I'm all like, you know how the world can end? I can tell you several different ways. Right on. Well, I think to get us sort of warmed up to tonight's show, let's start with a little video, and then we're going to bring on our awesome guest.
The universe. It's everything we know. It's all the people you know. It's the planet we live on. It's the galaxy we're in. In fact, it's everything, everywhere, all at once. But just how did it get here? And, well, is it going to end? We can answer that, actually. Yes, it is going to end. And in fact, we might even have a few ideas of just how it might come about.
For instance, will it be the Big Crunch, the reverse of the Big Bang? Or maybe heat death, where everything just heats up to the point that vacuum decay. Big Rip. Okay, there's a lot of theories out there, and it can be kind of confusing. We don't really know how the universe is going to end. Is it all going to come ripping apart at the seams? Is it all going to come crashing back together? Is it going to just decay slowly and disappear and fade away? Or are we all just going to burn to a cinder? It sounds not like hopeful news, but then again, it's fascinating news, and that's why you need a cosmologist.
No, not a cosmetologist. A cosmologist, like KATIE Mack, who's done the math and pretty much everything else. She's here to bring us really interesting news about the skies above us and everything that surrounds us. The wonder and awe of how it all began, and some of the theories about how it will all end.
All end.
Just like that. It could. Just like the video. It could just all end.
It could just all end. Well, without further ado, and with some special new effects, let us welcome
a special intro.
She does, KATIE Mack.
It's the black hole intro.
The black hole intro. It's new. KATIE, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. I do want to say a quick note to anybody out there who's trying to get online on Facebook. We don't know why Facebook Live doesn't work. It worked before and now it doesn't. I did post the live link to YouTube, so hopefully you've joined us over here. I see lots of people in the stream. Maybe Davey can catch a couple of those. We've got Lorelai is here, and Jennifer, and Kristen,
yeah. Evan, and
Sadie,
Amanda, Leon, Leanne, Jennifer Pierce,
everybody,
Sadie. Yeah, we got the crew.
We got the whole crew.
Randy.
Also, I just want to say, what is this? Leanne says eschatology rules. Yes. Woo. It does.
Okay, Brandy's on a tiny screen tonight, so I'm going to try my best to keep up with all your comments.
It's Davey on the. You're going to have to be like finger guns tonight. That's the job. Well, KATIE, it's so exciting. It's so exciting for me because I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to physics in general. I love astrophysics, but I'm a huge quantum physics fan, and I actually read quantum physics as like my bedtime reading, which is
nice.
It's weird for most people. I'm sure you don't think so, but I love it. And I was reading this book and I was just gobbling it up, and I actually listen to audiobooks. I'm on the treadmill running, and sometimes I fall off the treadmill if things are really funny. I didn't fall off the treadmill, but I love the the humor with which you talk about the fact that we're all gonna perish, like it's good. It's good for me. I get that graveyard humor.
I feel like you have to laugh because like there's literally nothing else you can do. Like it's just it's too big. It's incomprehensible. It's inevitable. Like the only way to deal with it is to find it funny.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Tone says, I think I used the "Hey, the world could end tomorrow" line more than once in college, which is good. And we, I think for me personally, this was really meaningful. I have food poisoning after eating bad oysters in Chamonix, France on my vacation. And so, I was lying in bed this morning thinking, it might not matter. The world could end. This is fine. It's optimistic in its own way.
Yeah.
Our folks here, in addition to just saying cool stuff, somebody says they miss seeing you on the tweeter.
Yeah.
On the tweeter.
The Twitter is a strange place at the moment. I've been spending a lot less time there, which is
dumpster fire.
It's a bit of a bummer. Yeah.
Heat death, big rip. That's what we. It needs one of those. The folks are going to be putting questions in the comments. They'll be typing it up, and I see one of us popped up already. We usually start just by asking, a few questions about the setup of the book. And one of the things I wanted to ask is, there's a real personality to the way you write this book. Like, it's definitely KATIE Mack telling you the end of everything.
Yeah.
I really appreciate. No, I love that. I love that personality. But let me ask, what motivated you to write it in that way? Because I think it's beautiful that way. But I just wonder, was it a decision? Did it just come naturally?
Yeah, I think that I think it's just a lot easier for me to write in my own voice. And part of it is that I've been doing a lot of stuff with like social media and other kinds of like casual science writing, and it's I'm very comfortable in that kind of space. And so in the book, there are sections where I've got like all caps and like I'm kind of, it is a very, it's very much the same voice I use on Twitter. But it just feels like it matches better like how I talk when I talk about the end of the universe. I get into all caps mode, and it felt it just felt like the way I wanted to tell the story. I didn't want to try and do the thing where I was like, trying to summon some kind of weighty, awe-inspiring kind of thing. I wanted to just talk about like what I find exciting, what I find scary, how I really genuinely feel about the end of the universe, and the only way for me to do that was to use my kind of natural voice.
It comes across beautifully. Ryan Mathern says, bad oysters, the end of everything. You're not kidding. I'm sparing you guys the details, but you're not kidding. Well, I love that. And I love the jokes, and I like how you space them. It's not as like you are trying to make it funny. It's just every once in a while you'll be like, and zoop, here's a little one for you. It's like just breaking the mood, which is marvelous. I want to get to our first two questions. Then we're going to take a really short break to do some announcements, because we have some good announcements for you today, including a book-themed cocktail just for you, Katie.
Nice.
And mocktail. We did them both. But Davey, could you cue up the first question? It just flew by my tiny screen. There it is. Question from Leanne. Can you tell us what really happened to the pigeons with Penzias and Wilson?
Well, I mean, it did not go well for the pigeons.
I was afraid.
Tragically, yeah. So I don't want to talk too much about that. It is rather sad. They were martyrs to the cause of our understanding of the cosmos. But it wasn't their fault in the end. They didn't do it. It was the universe. It wasn't them. So yeah. So I wish I had a better answer to that one.
Alas.
But,
Yes. I've gotten to know the pigeons in Turin very well. They're extremely they want your food in a way that is, I don't know. I'm not having great feelings towards pigeons at the moment. So maybe,
There's my friend Rosemary Moscow has a lovely book called Pigeon Watching that is all about how wonderful and amazing pigeons are, and it's a very approachable book, and I highly recommend
all right.
that to build up your love of your true love of pigeons.
Would you say it's peculiar though?
I would say it's peculiar. I would definitely say it's peculiar. It's
Okay.
It's a very strange little book about pigeons. Yes.
I like it. These pigeons in Italy. I mean, they're very mafia-like. They've got they come in groups. They're like, what are you going to do with that bread? Anyway, I'm Italian. I'm allowed to say that. So let's get to one more question because I just saw one slide by. But Kevin, why are you the first book to actually point out that string theory is not talking about this universe? Truly, first time I heard that.
Okay, so I should clarify. So there are string theorists who are working on theories that could apply to this universe. It's just that for the most part, when you listen to a string theorist, they are not talking about this because the problem is that it's very complicated theory. It's a whole set of theories really, and they're trying to solve a particular problem that's mathematically very difficult, but it's easier in certain regimes where you have a different setup for the structure of space and time. And so the idea is you solve it in that setup. You solve it with 5 dimensions in a weirdly curved space, and then you apply what you've learned to that to our own universe. That step is not necessarily complete yet. They're working on it. And they are working on trying to find the answer for our universe, but it is often true that if you go into a string theory seminar, they will start out by talking about anti de Sitter space or something, and we do not live in anti de Sitter space. Our universe is not in anti de Sitter space, and it's just that that's a space-time that is much more calculable. So but yeah, it is one of those things. Yeah, I mean I think it's not so dissimilar to when you go into a physics class and you're talking about a ball rolling on a frictionless surface. There is no frictionless surface. That's not a thing that exists. It's not possible. But you solve the problem in that regime because that's where you can solve the problem. And so it's similar with string theory calculations, except it's literally not our universe, which is I just feel like there should always be a little asterisk on the blackboard, just by the way, just so
this is the multiverse we're talking about. Sorry,
it's a different.
You know what though? I gotta say, Katie, I find that my books are more easy to conceptualize in a universe in which they're already written. So, part of me I see the utility here. It would be much more easier. As a matter of fact, if I had a time machine, that's all I would use it for. Just going forward and being like, what's in chapter 7? That would be perfect.
Yeah.
This is what you guys have to understand how geeked out I am about this, because this is what I love about this stuff. You're reading stuff and you're going okay, electrons do different stuff when you're not looking. String theory is not this universe. This is way better than science fiction. It's way weirder than science fiction. So I see more comments and questions coming up, but first let's pop into these announcements so I can show you the awesome drink we made for your book. Okay. All right.
Big announcement. We are live on Facebook now. So if
we are
trying to watch us on Facebook.
Did you figure it out?
I think it's a new post. I didn't fix our old post. It's a whole new post. It's a whole thing. We'll figure it out, people.
Okay.
It's Facebook. It's not us.
Phew, it's them. It's always Facebook, I'm pretty sure, and not us. So first, in our announcements, there's lots of ways that you can actually get in touch with us, and Davey's going to put some links in here, but there's one that I had been leaving off. It's called bookclubs.com. Bookclubs.com, and Amanda Johnson, one of our mavens, who is amazing, has been, I know it's not there. It's, I do have a slide for it though, don't I?
I thought we did.
Maybe I didn't. Anyway, I'll tell you about it. It's called bookclubs.com. You can find Peculiar Book Club there. Oh, there it is. And there it is, bookclubs.com/peculiar book club/meetings. And if you join it, and I haven't gotten it up on our website yet, but I will, it sends you notifications. It's so much, it's like having your own little personal peculiar butler who's like, hey, did you know you have a show today? Which I actually need sometimes too. And it gives you all the details, and it's awesome. And Amanda's done a brilliant job. It shows you the things that are coming up and what's gone before, and it's lovely. So that's a new one, a new way to contact us. We also have our main Facebook page and our Facebook group. And of course, you already scrolled through a couple of them. We've got the Substack in there somewhere. Just choose a slide. I'll talk about it. Doesn't matter. There we go. VIP. So we do have a Substack. If you, a newsletter, I should say, if you are here with us tonight, probably you get it. The newsletter, the general newsletter is free to everybody. Anybody can get it. The VIP newsletter, which is up here, is for our VIP group. VIPs get extra shows. So for instance, Ed Young's event, which is our next show, our first show in May, is a VIP event, which means the live event is VIPs only, though of course afterwards the YouTube will be up for everyone. So that's that. It helps support the group. It helps us support the authors and pay our musicians, which is important. Next up, Spreadshirt. Oh yeah, we sell stuff. If you want t-shirts, we have t-shirts, we have sweatshirts, we've got mugs. I feel like I need to go into a whole persona to sell these things, but it's cool stuff, and you can get to it on our spread shop. But finally, let's get to that drink.
I was trying to get the spread shop link in there for them.
Sorry.
I think I got too many buttons to push here.
You do have so many buttons. The cocktail tonight, I didn't end up having a photograph of it, for which I am sorry, because it's sort of like this wonderful, black, creepy, lovely thing with charcoal in it. But the ultimate name we picked was Cosmic Finale, though there were some hilarious runners-up. And I don't know if someone can throw some of them in the comments there, but they were really great. We felt like we were trying to, given it's the end of the universe, kind of think about the pan-galactic gargle blaster from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And so this is what our Maven Kat, who just got married, by the way, congratulations Kat, came up with our cocktail for tonight. And it is great. It's sort of like peachy and dark and, difficult to get your head around in exactly the way the end of the universe is. So I hope you guys are trying it and having a good time with it tonight. We also do our traditional mocktail as well. So all of that is in honor of you, Katie, the Cosmic Finale drink for the end of everything.
I did appreciate those pop culture references in the book, Katie. They grounded me. They brought me back.
Thank you. Yeah. I felt those I put in almost entirely for my own amusement. So I'm glad that people appreciated them.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Actually, since I've been running around in other countries, I can speak French, but not Italian. And I really wish that bowelfishes were a real thing. Like I would totally get one. That would be amazing. So anyway, that is what we have for the traditional. And then we have the movie club.
The movie club. That's right. Last month, it was On the Basis of Sex, the story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And, this is my one chance to reach out to you, Peculiars, and talk to you person to person. So throw in the chat if you listen to the episode and what you thought about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's story and our analysis, our the themes of her life, which was a weird thing to do, like the themes of someone's life. Like, we were talking about, did the story hold up? It's a biography of her life. But we have a really interesting book coming up in May, a Korean immigrant story. Brandy, do you remember the name of the book? I'm blanking.
Oh, The Evening Hero.
The Evening Hero. So in honor of that, there was a Korean immigrant movie that came out just a few years ago, Minari. So a perfect parallel here. So we'll see again. Did the themes cross over between the book and the movie? We'll have some fun. We'll watch a movie that got a lot of praise from festivals and award season. And
yeah, it did.
This will be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, and we're also for that same show we have Susan Hwang coming in to do the music for that one, who's also the child of Korean immigrants. So we'll get very cultural. It'll be a good show. Not to forget, please do let Davey know. You guys can just reach out and send him stuff. But these movie podcasts are really, really good. And I'm not even a movie person. I don't have to watch the movie. I just have to listen to Davey.
Oh, Susan said she just watched Minari after watching the show Beef, which is a new show on one of the streaming platforms, and both are terrific. So
Fantastic.
the lead actor is the star in both. So
Awesome.
excellent, Susan. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Let us see what has queued up in the questions, which I can't actually see, Davey. Find me questions and comments in here.
Jumping back. Well, I just want to, we do have a comment from Jennifer Pierce who said, this book is, I'm guessing this is mind blowing or just.
Whoa.
And then jumping into our questions, Kristen Mesden. Is there any way it helps humanity now to predict this sort of theoretical far future event, or is it all just curiosity?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say curiosity. Though, you know, one of the things to keep in mind is that as we are trying to understand these big cosmic questions, you know, we're kind of drilling down into the nature of reality, how physics works, how the universe works, and it's impossible to know where that could lead. You know, and it's funny because I don't really see how any of the stuff that we're learning about the cosmos or about, you know, these really tricky questions of fundamental physics, I don't know how they could possibly lead to something that could be useful to humans, right? Like, it's just, I can't conceive of anything. It seems like dark matter can't possibly be useful, dark energy, like there's no way, right? But if you look back at the history of science, like every major theoretical breakthrough has at some point been translated into technology of some kind, right? Like general relativity, you know, space-time is curved. That's weird, right? How could that possibly matter? But now it's in GPS. Like, we need to take that into account when we find out where we're located on the Earth, and, you know, or quantum mechanics, you know, is super important for all of our technology now. Quantum tunneling is used to make microscopes work better. I mean, there's so many things like that like I would never have guessed there would be any application, and yet, you know, the more we understand about the universe, the better, you know, we are at doing things on Earth. And so yeah, I have no idea. Probably it'll be entirely inconsequential for any aspect of life on Earth, at least in the near term. But you know, we can't say. But I mean, the reason that we do this is because we care, is we want to know, right? Like there's just something human about wanting to know, wanting to know how things work, where we're going, where we came from, like wanting to understand the universe that we live in. And that's just like, that's a thing humans like, you know, humans enjoy understanding stuff. And so, I mean, the reason that we do it is because we enjoy understanding stuff, and we do stuff, you know, we think as a society that it's worth investing in understanding stuff.
Absolutely.
But,
I mean,
yeah,
I ended up reviewing a book called The Possibility of Life on Wall Street Journal 2 Saturdays ago. I think it was up. And I mentioned your book in the review because one of the things the book is about is how science fiction helps us conceptualize life on other planets, but that all of our abilities to conceptualize are really us reimagining life on this planet, and how it reflects back on human nature. So I talked a little bit about that, and how, to me, thinking about the cosmos, quantum mechanics, I mean, I love quantum mechanics because it's so weird. And I think that we should practice having several things in our brain at one time that don't look like they go together. I think that's what is it? I used to think of 7 impossible things before breakfast or something. That's a line from Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass. So, you know, I think that that's actually good practice. And so to be able to read your book and kind of like visualize things that there is no visualization for is good practice, and says a lot about who we are as humans. And so I really feel like that helps us, oddly enough, in a kind of psychological way.
And you know, within physics, some of the you know, methods or technologies or theories that we use when we're thinking about the end of the universe end up being applicable to other questions of physics that are much more, you know, mundane or useful. So I think that but yeah, I mean, when you know, if I'm submitting a funding application and there's like questions about sort of, you know, impact on society, it's all I like. It's just we just want to know. We're just curious. There's no, this is not going to cure cancer next week. Like there's nothing like that.
Well, in the chat, they have pointed out some of the things science has brought us, and Ryan points out that the space program gave us Tang.
Yeah.
Tang.
Which created a Tang tangent in the chat currently.
It did. There's a whole Tang. There's actually, so I don't know if you can see it. There's whole conversations that happen over here in chat, which is awesome. So Sadie introducing Ryan to us, and frankly, so many of the peculiars bring in more people that they know as just for being here. But I actually remember the Tang commercials. You remember the Tang commercials?
I don't know.
There's a monkey in the Tang commercials, and I didn't understand the connection, but then I did all that research on the space race and was like, oh, monkey. They suffered in much the same way fates that your pigeons suffered. Like the monkeys did not do well either. And I was like, they weren't just up there drinking Tang.
Yeah.
Brandy, we might have a problem though. Kathleen is having a kitten moment, and she's staring at the zipper move on your sleeve.
Oh, sorry.
Hang in there, Kathleen.
Actually, I'm having kitten withdrawals. My brother is babysitting Darwin, our mascot cat, who is black and like a void of space when he shuts his eyes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I apparently my brother's decided to take him like camping with him this weekend, so they're having a bro time together.
Okay,
I hope he wants to come back.
He's an adventure cat.
Yeah, he is an adventure cat. Yes.
Well, I guess while we're being silly and before we get heavy again, we should throw this question in here. Sadie wanted to know what's on your pillows.
Yeah. So hold on.
Oh, and then you have to share with us about what's on your wall.
Okay, so I lived in Australia for a few years, for 5 years, and these pillows were a gift from my mom. They're indigenous art. I don't know too much more about it than that, but I think they're neat, and there's different patterns. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, while we're doing show and tell, why don't you tell us a little bit about that painting up there?
Yeah. Okay. So that painting there is a vacuum decaying. So my friend Fitz got it commissioned especially for me in honor of my book. So it's a very special picture.
Zombie vacuum back there.
Yes.
All right, Davey, I know some other things have popped up because I see you've starred them, but I can't actually see them. What's coming up?
So, we got some questions that we got to jump back to.
Okay.
So Amanda Johnson asked, what's been the most unexpected finding when investigating the universe's beginning and ending? I'm assuming she means besides the actual beginning and ending of the universe.
Yeah.
That was pretty unexpected too.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends on sort of when you come into it, which parts are most unexpected. I'm trying to think if there's, I mean, the most unexpected thing that's happened to physics in the last, I don't know, century since Einstein, I think, is the discovery of dark energy, which is very relevant to the end of the universe, and that was only discovered in the late 1990s, so not that long ago, physics speaking. And just the idea that the universe is accelerating in its expansion, and that's probably going to kill us all in the end. So that was very unexpected. They were not looking for that when they made those measurements. So I think that's probably, I would say that's probably the most unexpected finding relating to the end of the universe in the last, I don't know, 50 years or something.
I think I was most shocked when you said that we can actually sort of see the beginning of the universe. That was unexpected for me personally. But wow.
Yeah, the cosmological background. That's one of the things that when people ask me, like, what's one of the most amazing things you know about the universe or something, like we can see the Big Bang. and there's no, like, we're just looking at it. Like there's nothing. Like
we don't know anything.
I mean, a lot of things, a lot of stuff in physics is very indirect. You're getting, or in science in general, like you're seeing traces, you're seeing relics, you're seeing like the
Fossils,
imprints of whatever, right? But with the cosmic microwave background light, it's just light. You're just seeing it. I mean, you're seeing it with microwave telescopes, so you're not seeing it with your eyes exactly, but like it's light that you're just looking at, and you're looking directly at the beginning, right? because you're looking so far away that you're looking at the space that is on fire from your perspective right now.
So technically we could have a universe at the beginning of the universe, or sorry, a restaurant at the beginning of the universe. You know, we couldn't have the restaurant at the end of the universe, such as is the case in Hitchhiker's Guide. But if you had a microwave telescope in a restaurant, technically you could have a restaurant at the beginning of the universe. Sort of.
Wait, so
this is how I felt this is how I felt the whole time listening to the book.
I mean,
the beginning is all still kind of here, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So like you can still sort of...
I mean, you can look at it. If there were a restaurant at the beginning, you would look at it. You would see it. I mean, so somebody just asked in the question, is the CMB? It's actually 300,000 years. Yes, it's 380,000 years after the first moment, but it's still in the time that I would call the Big Bang, which is the time when the universe was hot and full of fire. Right. Plasma. It's still banging in some way, right?
But would it serve as breakfast food? Yes, absolutely. Cats.
Yeah.
Breakfast food always. I'm thinking of it as a diner, frankly.
Right. I mean, it would be hot enough that you could just put your food out there and it just cooks.
Yeah. I like the idea. Now I have to draw a picture of this, which is happening in my head a lot when I read this book too. Okay, what are some of my other questions? I see
jumping back. Some of the comments have been great. The recent ones, I'm going to make sure we hit the ones way back. Anthro, this was in a previous conversation, so maybe the context will make sense to you. Then you may not like chapter 7. You'd have to change it, and the future would be flying pigs and talking otters. To which Kevin replied, "I like otters."
So that was in response to the comment about going to the future and saying what happens in chapter 7 and as you're writing the book, right?
Yeah.
I think chapter 7 of my book was the big rip. So I don't know. Or not. No, I think it would have been vacuum decay. Anyway. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
I still would like to know what I was thinking. I don't like the fact that I have to have thought of something before I can write it. I would much rather be able to know what it looked like, and then I want to see the cosmic microwave background of what it is that I want to write. That's what I'm looking for. That's true. Okay, next up.
Right. Leanne asked about your history as a scientist. It wasn't your fault, the fire in the nuclear physics lab and the explosion in the underwater neutrino detector. But what messes did you cause in your work, and how did you set things right?
Okay, so I became a theorist. And the worst that can happen is like I accidentally erase the chalkboard or I delete a file on the computer, and nothing like that has happened. Like I haven't destroyed any research in that way. So it's definitely good that I'm a theorist now. I did have to go to a telescope once, and the telescope did not work as it was supposed to, but I don't think that was my fault either. I think that was just luck. I think that when you were trying to pan to the left, it panned to the right. That was not my fault. It just decided to do that night.
It's Facebook.
I don't know. I've been pretty lucky to not cause major disasters in physics. I've just been nearby when several occurred.
Ah, got it. Yeah.
Is it just a rule in physics that you just don't erase a chalkboard? Like never erase someone else's chalkboard?
Well, no. So there's so at the Perimeter Institute where I work now, it's full of chalkboards, and there is a chalkboard etiquette, which is that at the end of the day, the cleaners are allowed to clean the chalkboards. So if you write "do not erase" in the corner, they won't do it. So there are ways to preserve, but you're supposed to just take a picture if you need to keep it. If it's one of the public chalkboards, because there's the public chalkboards and then there's the ones in your offices. They don't clean the ones in your offices. Mine has not been touched since before I moved into my office.
Got it.
So I just so the chalkboard in my office when I arrived was full of equations and diagrams, and I didn't use it for a while because I just wasn't doing anything with it. And then what I've done is like in the occasions when I do need to use the chalkboard, I'll just erase a part of it and put my equations, because an empty chalkboard is just bad for the soul, right? You need something there. Right, you need like some kind of science on the chalkboard at all times. So you don't want to just get rid of the whole thing, and then you just got like a little bit of stuff in the corner. You really need that to make you feel like a physicist.
This is how we're gonna change the constant. Like you're gonna erase something, and it's just gonna be like the answer is gonna be there. Like you're gonna be like, oh,
there's the solution. Found it. I do understand that, but is the minute that you read the question about causing disasters, I leaned back in this chair, and the entire back fell off.
Oh no!
Which I also did not do. I mean, I did do, but I think that it was broke before I got here. We're just gonna like walk away from it quietly when this is over. But yeah, so if I apologize for making a little shout there, but yeah, there's no back now. It's down there, so it's fine.
Should we hit the halftime show with some music and a squid quiz?
And the squid quiz, which comes right after. So without further ado, this is Charming Disaster, our house band, and the song for tonight is Days Are Numbered.
Oh, hello, Peculiars.
We're Charming Disaster.
And we're about to play you a song inspired by the greatest love story ever told. Spy versus Spy. The song is called Days Are Numbered.
She flirts with the diplomat at the banquet. They start the slow walk down the hall. And when he puts a match to her cigarette, she eyes the camera on the wall.
He climbs to the second floor like an acrobat and pulls the Rothko off the wall. Takes out a stethoscope from his backpack and hears the tumbler slowly fall. We were playing for time. One more situation where we might be double-crossing the line. We were playing for time. Milking every moment from a second slipping by.
She asks him if he wants a little nightcap, perhaps a port from 64.
Very good here.
Is someone listening through a water glass, standing just outside the door?
He finds the dossier with the microfiche and breathes to steady, shaky hand. Opens the attaché from the agency and swaps an altered set of plans. We were playing for time. One more situation where we might be double-crossing the line. We were playing for time. Milking every moment from those seconds slipping by.
She slips the envelope from his cummerbund and ties him neatly to a chair. When he wakes, she'll be long gone with the access code. A new tattoo, the dye washed from her hair.
He makes his getaway through the laundry chute when he hears the wail of the alarm. Checks the coordinates for the rendezvous. Wonders just how long this can go on. We were playing for time. One more situation where we might be double crossing the line. We were playing for time, milking every moment from those seconds slipping by. Trust your lover, blow your cover, going under. Days are numbered. See you across the room. Heart skips a beat. The rush of danger feels like love.
Love.
We slip a little bit every time we meet. We're both awaiting orders from above. Are you my nemesis or my better half? These days it matters less and less. Sodium pentothal or a polygraph. We know all the tricks to beat the test. We were playing for time. One more situation where we might be double crossing the line. We were playing for time, milking every moment from those seconds slipping by. Trust your lover, blow your cover, going under. Days are numbered. Trust your lover, blow your cover, going under. Days are numbered. We were playing for time. We were playing for time. We were playing for time. We were playing for time.
Wow. They outdo
Yeah.
themselves every week. Unbelievable.
I know, they're so awesome. And we don't always have Charming Disaster, but they're some of our majors. And as Kevin says, that was fantastic. They are, in fact, quite a force to be reckoned with. They've stayed at my house. They're also lovely people in general. They played with my chickens, my goth chicken. It was great. So we now have a part of our show where all of you get to take a bit of a quiz about squid. But following that, we have a quiz for you, Katie, and it's very exciting.
Okay.
Yes, that'll come back. Okay, I believe it is time for squid. Hello,
Oh.
Sarah.
I guess we should have gave Sarah the explosion, shouldn't we have?
Oh yeah, we should have.
Hang on, Sarah. That feels appropriate.
Squid explosion. Squid. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. Hi.
Hello.
Tell us about squid.
Let's do it. Okay, so today I have another squid for you. We're going to do a squid of the month, and then we will follow that up with a squid quiz. So let's begin. This month, I'm going to be introducing to you the firefly squid. Okay, so the firefly squid, they live in deep water off the coast of Japan. They have a whole museum dedicated to them. So if you ever find yourself on the coast of Toyama Bay in Japan, they have the Hotaru Ika Museum, which is the firefly squid. This museum is one of the best museums I've ever been to. I am admittedly a little biased, love a squid. If you're there during the season where these squid come up to the surface to mate, lay eggs, and then die, you may actually run into one of these squid in this museum. This museum also covers squid broadly, so it's really a squid lover's dream, this place. These squid are not particularly huge, and when they come up to mate, there's a big fishery for them every spring. What's really, really fun about these squid is that they are covered in bioluminescent or glowing photophores. Photophores are the organs in animals that create bioluminescence. They look like the Starry Night painting. They're amazing. These photophores are blue and green, very small, and then they have larger photophores on 2 of their arms. So if you ever see videos of these animals like washed up on the beach, you'll often see these really 2 bright balls kind of flopping back and forth. And those are the photophores on the 2 arms. There are 3 big photophores on each one. So yeah, let's watch a little video of these animals in action. You might have to click again to get it started. Here we go. So this is actually, you're looking at the underside of the squid. The underside of the squid has far more photophores than the top. And they come in these really gorgeous patterns. So like the video just showed in that zoom in picture of their skin, some of these photophores are blue, some of them are green, but in a lot of videos, it's just hard for cameras to pick up on the green spots. So they usually just look blue in videos. All right, so that's your squid of the month, the firefly squid. So let's do a little squid quiz. When I was teaching, when I was a graduate student, the first time I would write quiz on any of my like emails out to my students, I would write squid first. I think my fingers don't know how to not type squid, so I end up writing squid. All right, first question. What gives squid blood its blue color? Is it A, water, B, cobalt, C, copper, or D, oxygen?
Fill up the chat, peculiars. Fill
Lexi
up
says
the
B.
chat.
Christian says C. Melinda says C.
We're going to hear all the answers at the end of the 3 questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's
Keep
you
guessing.
guessing. All right, let's do question number 2. How many squid can a sperm whale eat in a day? Now, of course,
Doesn't this depend on the size of the squid?
squid are we talking about exactly, Katie? So let's just say it's an average size squid. We're not talking about giant squid, although
It's like,
I would say average is probably this big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Average squids. Okay.
Some squid are quite small. The smallest squid in the ocean is about the size of your pinky fingernail. Those are pygmy squid. They're very interesting animals. And we talked about them last month. And then the largest squid is about the length of a school bus. But there are 2 squid that are the length of a school bus. One is the giant squid, which are large, but not super chunky. And then there are colossal squid. And they're very, very bulbous. They're very muscular. They're huge. So not only are they long, they're also quite wide. Anyway, we are
a lot
not.
of C and D. A lot of C and D guesses on that one.
I think you might be onto something. Okay.
All right.
When squid make blobs of ink to confuse predators, what do they add to the ink? Is it A, mucus, B, sand, C, blood, or D, fat? So ink.
Everyone's like,
Components. Ink is melanin and some other chemicals in there as well. But the squid have the option, and cuttlefish and octopus as well, have the option of either basically making a smoke bomb, just releasing that melanin and it dissipates into the water in a big smoke bomb, or they can mix this substance in and clump things together. Usually make that clump about the same size as them so that predators have multiple options to attack instead of just one squid.
Weren't these the original 4 humors of the?
I was just sitting there thinking that. Colic,
Humor.
phlegm.
All right, Sarah, should we let them know?
Let's do it. All right. What gives squid blood its blue color? That would be copper. In our blood, it's of course red, and that would be because of its iron content. How many squid can a sperm whale eat in a day? 700. Sometimes
That's crazy.
even 800. It's a lot of squid. They are eating a lot of squid.
It's about the same amount of macaroni and cheese noodles the Davy baby can handle in a day. Yeah.
That's how these whales are approaching squid. Sadly. And lastly, how do squid make those blobs of ink? In cephalopod behavior, we call those pseudomorphs. Pseudo fake morph body, I guess. So that would be mucus that they mix in with the ink.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Anthro girl. Gross.
Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the chat how you did. Let us know your score out of 3 in the chat.
Yeah, we're interested. I gotta admit, I got the whole blue blood thing, but that's because of like horseshoe crab. Like I've got some other reasons why I figured that one out. But yeah, 700 I would never have guessed. I mean, I like calamari, but that's a lot of squid.
It's a big commitment. Yeah,
it is.
So I've been to Toyama. But I did not know about the Squid Museum. But it turns out that Toyama is only about an hour and a half away from the neutrino detector that blew up. That was not my fault. So there's a connection there.
Maybe we
I don't think any squid got into it, but
yeah.
Maybe the squid were responsible. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
bunch of
there were a
firefly
lot of them,
squid, just being like little gangsters.
Can't put anything past the squid.
Gangster tentacles. All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. Everybody wave to Sarah.
Bye, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you. I love our squids. We do love our squids. So we have arrived at the quizzy sort of portion of the show anyway. So I have to say, it's coming up to Davy and the Davy Stump the Author quiz. But don't worry, because it's like, what was that? You could phone a friend. You can reach out to the Peculiars to try and help you out. It's not exactly about your book.
Okay.
It never is.
So is this going to be more or less stressful than my PhD exam?
You know what?
Exam?
You were so good with the pop culture stuff in your book. I think you might be okay here because I went on the pop culture because obviously you wrote about the end of the universe and existence, and probably would be a little bit of a bummer of a finale. And TV has a history. TV shows have a history of having a couple of bummer finales of their own. So the quiz this week is called, but the series finale was terrible. So I'm going to ask you about 3 very popular TV shows that have had kind of panned final episodes. And huge spoiler warning. In fact, I will even tell you the 3 shows up top in case you don't want to be spoiled by any of these shows that have been off the air for many years. We're going to do Seinfeld, Sopranos, and Dexter are the 3 shows we're going to do. So if you need to mute yourself or look away from the screen because you're in the middle of binging The Sopranos for the first time right now.
I've never watched either The Sopranos or Dexter, so this will be interesting.
You're going to have to just guess.
Well, you know what? This one's kind of tough because you know what? Your book was kind of tough this week.
Okay.
So the series finale of Seinfeld sees its main cast land in jail and a parade of guest stars testify against their character. But what law did they actually break? Was it A, duty to rescue law, B, criminal mockery, or C, unlawful morality? What was the law that they actually broke in the finale?
I thought you know what? I was never a Seinfeld fan, frankly.
No, me either.
All right, let's see. What are you guys saying over here? They're talking about other shows with sucky endings.
It's a great show with some truly they were awful people, but Seinfeld says he kind of regrets doing this finale. I think he said in interviews like, maybe we shouldn't have like departed so far from the.
I have no idea. I would probably guess A, but if other people know the answer, I'm happy to.
All right,
happy
you guys.
to take help from from the audience.
Kristen's like A with a question mark too.
Yeah,
Kevin's
maybe
like,
some
I've
other
never-
shows.
Amanda's like B with a question mark.
All right, so her guess was A. The answer is yes, A, duty to rescue.
Duty
Excellent.
to
All
rescue.
right.
Which actually
Awesome.
might be a real law in some places. Like
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's like if you're walking past somebody and they're about to like get hit by a car and you don't do anything, even though you could, like that kind of. I don't know. I think there are rules for that somewhere.
So I found out the opposite exists in Sweden, where I was just giving
Oh,
a
yeah?
talk. That's why I'm overseas. And so while we were at dinner, the window blew open, and they said, "Oh, we're going to have to send somebody out to shut the window of our little conference." But someone outside shut it for us, and they said, "Oh, that's really unusual." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, we don't normally do things for one another here." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Well, because we have the government for all those things." So like they don't like. There's so much of a
Interesting.
social safety net that like it doesn't occur to them to help you because they're like, well, there's a government safety net. Someone will come along and help you.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, so that's the
It's
opposite.
like
I suppose.
it's like the whole country is run by a union. Don't touch that. Union.
Don't touch that.
All right, question number 2. The Sopranos. So everyone knows in the series finale of The Sopranos, the screen cuts to black while Don't Stop Believin' is playing. But what song was playing when Tony enters the diner? Is it Cool
What?
Change by the Little River Band, All That You Dream by Little Feat, or Roll with the Changes by REO Speedwagon? What do you think? What 70s rockish band do you think got there? I know
I've
this is
never seen
this is a tough one.
This is
I
okay. So
have
it
no
ends
idea.
with "Don't Stop Believin'." I feel like maybe there's a theme that we could pick up.
Is
Roll
there-
with the changes. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
that
would.
you
I
dream.
don't
Randy
know.
says A.
Okay. I really have no idea for this one.
Kevin asked, were the Swedes just pulling the Americans' leg?
I thought that at first, but I actually double checked it, and yeah, apparently they're like, you know, if your car breaks down, that's okay. There's public transport. Like, they don't pick you up at the airport. They're like, they'll get here. We have services.
All right, this one might have been a tough question. I honestly, without talking about the cutting to black and Don't Stop Believing, there wasn't much to ask, except do you think Tony lives or dies at the end? So the answer is All That You Dream by
All that
Little
you dream. Okay, so that's
Okay.
kind of like thematic, right?
Thematic. I
Like,
think there was some themes going on there.
dream, then believe. Believe in your dream.
Yeah.
Dream and believe.
All right,
Sorry,
question
I won't
number
sing.
3. The series finale of Dexter sees the vigilante serial killer fake his own death, escape his life in Miami, and become a lumberjack in what city? Is it Spokane, Washington, Abbotsford, British Columbia, or Astoria, Oregon?
I have no idea. I feel like though it would behoove someone escaping the law to go to a different country.
Yeah.
So if it were me, it would be Abbotsford, British Columbia, but I don't know.
I just immediately thought of lumberjack, and I'm okay too, Kevin. I was literally singing in my head, thinking, and that was British Columbia, wasn't it? So yeah, the larch. Remember?
Boy,
don't know what it was.
I thought I picked the broadest shows that I could pick, but I guess these shows aren't up the Peculiar's alley, I guess.
No, I don't know. Several people asked about Lost. Someone
You
says
Lost.
definitely not Spokane.
I was a huge Lost fan, and I couldn't find a question really in there in the finale of Lost. Although
Other
people
than,
were
like-
disappointed in the finale of Lost as well.
That's true.
Which, if you go back and you watch the show binging it, it hits differently.
Oh, does it?
It hits
Because
differently.
you're not expecting it, or you're not waiting for it.
All right. So our guess was British Columbia, Abbotsford,
Mhm.
right across the border from the U.S. The answer was Astoria, Oregon.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, Astoria, Oregon. That's where he
Oregon.
ends up.
I
All
feel
right,
like
well-
I feel like someone would notice a serial killer in Astoria, Oregon. I mean, it's just me, but I feel like
Cat from the Facebook page says, us Canadians, we are not all lumberjacks. Need to leave some trees for the beavers.
fair.
Oh, and Kevin says all finales are disappointing, right, Katie? I think he's leading us back to the book here.
Some of them are really fun.
Well, I have a question, which is, what's your favorite end of the universe?
That's I feel like that should be obvious by the art in my home. Vacuum decay, 100%. It's just so cool. Like the idea that a tiny unpredictable quantum event can just destroy the whole universe. Just like chain reaction, we're gone. Like the whole universe is destroyed. And then like it could happen at any moment. You can't see it coming. Like there's so many aspects of this that to a physicist are just super, super cool.
So you're I'm going to say that you're chaotic neutral. No, wait, I'm trying to put you on the D&D scale for choosing that answer. Yeah, I don't know.
It would also be painless, right? Like you don't hear, you don't see it coming, you don't know about it, you don't feel it, it's gone. You don't even notice. Like it's very humane.
I'm gonna fall off this freaking shit. I know.
Remind me, because I took in a lot of information this week. Okay. So is this the one that has to appear near a tiny black hole?
It doesn't have to. Okay. There are theories in which if a tiny black hole evaporates just before it completes its evaporation, it triggers vacuum decay and destroys the universe. But no, it could happen anywhere at any time. It could happen right here, and just spread through my home and through the rest of the universe at the speed of light. So
it would like start in your home, actually, Katie. Yes. Like it would begin there. Just kind of move out.
It could have happened at Saturn, 45 minutes ago, and it's just on its way. We don't know yet.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. Now, I will say, I just realized that some folks probably haven't. Most people have often read the book prior, but some people haven't. Really quickly before we wrap up tonight.
Okay.
The ones you cover are, and do you want to give us a quick? So we've got.
Okay. We got the Big Crunch. So this is the idea that the universe, which is currently expanding, could at some point stop expanding and collapse again. Mm-hmm. There's the heat death. So that's what happens if the universe, as it's currently expanding, continues expanding forever and is expanding faster and faster, because we know that the expansion is speeding up, and it just kind of, everything gets more and more separated. The universe gets more and more diffuse. Everything kind of fades away and decays over trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of years. Then there's the Big Rip, which is where...
This is my favorite for the title.
Okay, yeah. And that's where the universe is expanding, accelerating. But the dark energy that's responsible for the expansion in this scenario gets more and more powerful and tears the universe apart at some time in the future. And then there's vacuum decay, which is the one where a quantum event occurs at one point in the universe and it creates a bubble of a different kind of space that we call a true vacuum, and that bubble expands through the universe and destroys everything in its path. And then the last one was kind of a blanket term for bouncing cosmologies. So any kind of scenario where the universe ends and starts again. Mm-hmm. So there are a few different ways that I talked about that happening. Some where the universe kind of collapses for a little while and then starts again. Some where the universe goes through heat death and then a new universe comes out of the end of that. So there are a couple of ways that a bounce can happen in some way. So those are the five that I covered.
Yeah. So
Joanne pointed out that you have the greatest tag to every story you tell, which is "and destroys the universe."
And destroys the universe.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I was trying to think of which one was my favorite. And I like Big Rip because it's a hilarious name. But secondly, it doesn't, when you're like, oh, it tears apart the universe, you're like, okay. But then when you realize you're made of universe stuff and you're thinking like, oh, it tears apart you. Then it becomes very like, what was the movie? There's a movie where a guy it becomes very science fiction. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
So on Star Trek, do you believe the theory that they are being torn apart and recreated on the opposite side of the... Oh,
you mean in the transporter?
Transporter.
I think it's quite hard to avoid the idea that they are being destroyed and reconstituted every time they transport somewhere. I think it would be difficult to come up with a scenario in which that's not happening, unfortunately.
Yeah. It sounds awful.
But with the Big Rip, it's really interesting because it starts on the largest scales and then it comes closer, right? So like first it tears apart the galaxy clusters, just moves galaxies away from each other. Then it tears the stars out of galaxies, and then it tears planets away from stars, and then it pulls apart, planets and then, atoms and nuclei and then the fabric of space itself. And so you can imagine like trying to last as long as possible. And the way that you do that in a big rip scenario is to just be in as little space as you can. So like you get in like a little capsule, like a little space capsule. It's not much bigger than yourself. And that'll be one of the last things to go, but it will go
ultimately go.
ultimately.
Yeah.
But it'll be after the Earth is destroyed, right? So like you can kind of but I mean that's the thing, right?
Show.
Like but like it does pull apart space, and if you're in space, you can't get away from that.
Yeah.
So it's
I think that's just like those are the types of things that both like what the Big Rip Taco Bell what Randy, I can't get to that question, but that was really funny.
Some B humor in the chat.
Galaxy Quest transporter with the inside out alien. Yeah, I remember that one too. I think what I love about this idea is the fact that you can't get away from yourself either, right? This is one of the things that I think people keep climate change. This is another lesson. I feel like there's a climate change lesson from your book, even though your book is talking about gazillions of years in the future. Potentially or not or Tuesday, but the idea that we keep thinking, well, I'll just keep moving away from the climate disaster. Like you can't ultimately. Like you live here, so I think that you can't get away from space. It's a very similar kind of concept. If you could hammer that one home, maybe some people would kind of get the point with the whole. At some point, there's no place to go to get away from climate change or COVID or what have you. So. Anyway, this has been amazing. It's always wonderful to talk to you. I love to talk about space in general all the time. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with as we consider the ends of the universe as we know it?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, I feel a little put on the spot there. I mean, the universe is going to end at some point. I think we should enjoy it while we have it. We should appreciate the existence of all things now, and because we won't always have that, and we should enjoy the joy of existing in a big, beautiful, astonishing universe.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to try tomorrow to enjoy being in a big, beautiful Italy, not with food poisoning. So I think that will be my.
Good. Yeah, this is
going to be my goal.
Yeah.
Katie, that was a perfect segue to our next book, which is all about the big, wonderful, amazing universe. So
that's right.
Perfect.
Ed Young's An Immense World. So I hope you guys will tune in for that too. And in the meantime, let me just say, welcome to our family, Katie. We're really happy to have you. And thank you all for joining us at a place where, as we always say, if you're weird, you're family.
You got the blue bottle blues when you wake up in the night. Don't make a big mistake, 'cause you can never make it right. When you reach out for the vial, feel the ridges in the glass. It's a matter of survival, baby. Better watch your back. There is no antidote. There is no